Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Madam Khalila and all my dear friends. My name is Noor Azrein binti Rahman. I'm the first presenter for my group and I will start with the introduction. So basically, the name of the project that has been assigned to us is Landschaftspark Duisburg, North Germany, or as known as Duisburg North Landscape Park. It is located at Street 71, Duisburg, Germany. So we move on to the first issue. That is to set quality building and planning standards for the environmental, economic, and social transformation of an old industrial region. The site of the park comprises a surface fragmented by motorways, roads, railway lines, walls, and industrial facilities where it is impossible to recognize as an original landscape. For this reason, the intervention sought basically to recover a landscape shaped by former manufacturing industries and to open it up to new users. The planning of the park had to anticipate the full complexity of elements further on the site of the old iron and steel works and to work with all of them in order to create a public space with the main character of a public space. At the same time, it was decided not to demolish the industrial facilities of the factory. This would have been unviable for financial reasons and to appraise it as historic landmark. Next, the second issue is to improve the water quality and the experience value of the estuary and the reduction of waste discharges into the Rhine River. The Channel River estuary, which runs through the park, has been regenerated due to the supply of rainwater, which throughout its cycle. Until it enters the river, utilizes the factory's old cooling tanks, the water channel and the whole water system are an artifact, which aims to restore natural processes in an environment of devastation and distortion. These processes are governed by the rules of ecology, but initiated and maintained by means of technology. Lastly, for the issue, it is about land pollution that caused by industrial activity. The pollution of the land is visible in some areas but underground in others. A number of interventions have been carried out in order to clean it up. According to the type of pollutant materials, this means that there are areas where the land has been covered in new layers, but there are others which have been closed off and will be unable to be used until a long period of time has elapsed. In addition, the landscape consultants that involved in this project are Last Partner, Last Real, and J. Likovsky. That's all from me.
Next, we move on to the landscape inventory analysis at the Duisburg North Landscape Park. There will be 5 elements, inventory elements that will be highlighted because these 5 elements which contribute and influence how the designers design the park as it is now. So the first element is the history of the site. So the site is located at the Duisburg, which is a city located at the rural basin, which is one of the most heavily populated regions of Germany due to the rapid industrialization in the mid-19th century. The site was previously a former iron and steel works, which owned by Thyssen Hochhof Mederich. So in the mid-80s, the factory was closed off and stopped production for good, and it was closed off and abandoned, and it was unknown to the residents living around there, and the site was polluted with very high levels of land and water pollution. In spite of that, there was ecological regeneration contributed by because of the lack of development and human intervention being done there. The next element is the architectural image of the site. Since it was built during the Industrial Revolution, just like other factories being built during that time, it was built for the purpose of mass production and designed to be a gigantic machinery. Due to that, it looks very complicated and with lines of pipes and machinery. The structures are made of iron and concrete to be durable and has resistant to heat. Most of the iron surfaces are covered with rust and it give hazardous and alarming atmosphere to the observer. However, the structure has its potential to be a landmark because of its huge scale. The factory's furnace, chimney, and other, even the factory itself can be into a focal point and a viewing point. The next element is hydrology. So the main water body there is the Amshire River, which is just a small river around 10-meter width. It flows across the park. The river previously had been used as an open sewer until the 1990s. Due to mining activities, the underground sewage cannot be created, and because of that, the river was filled with wastewater, filled with industrial waste of the factory and other waste. The next and the fourth element is the soil. Because of the industrial activities done there, the soil there is infertile and polluted with heavy metals and other industrial waste. The last and the fifth element of the inventory is vegetation. Even though the soil was unfertile because of the industrial waste and pollution, because of the abandonment by human, and there was no development being done there, some plants and vegetation seems to survive there. However, the plants grow fragmentally according to the adaptation of the plants, which means that the plant, not all species survive there, and not all places at the site there grown plants. For example, vegetation similar to the steppes, which some kind of grass-like vegetation, some kind of lalang, grown on surface comprising of smelting materials, sand and ash, which originated from the industrial activity.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Bibi Nur Jannah binti Hashim, metric number 1817062. Today I will discover about the section C, which is have to analyze the design strategies proposed by this project and how to overcome the issues. The thing is, how did they solve the issues through this design? So we found that there are two problems in this project, which the first is how they set the quality and the building planning standard for the environmental, economics and social transformation of an industrial region. And the second is how they improve the water quality and the reduction of waste discharge into the Rhine River. So we back to the first problem, which is how they set the quality building and the planning standard for the environmental, economics and social transformation of the old industrial region. So the strategies is they modified the existing site to maintain the structure for the memorial. First is how they modified the site is they use back the existing structure, the existing structure still. For example, if they fill the space between the steel decay with the crust, like the steel plates are not meant to last, rather they will gradually erode and decay, and portraying the natural process occurring in the site. So in this way, the piazza represent the site as a whole, as this steel decays more grass will grow between them. So the plant will eventually fill the space and the remains of the rusted steel admits it. So the second is they reuse back the railway ties as a overhead walkway. So one of other system in the park is formed by the railway lines, which have been used to provide overhead walkway and which runs through the site and able to view the area through the railway lines. Is they reuse back the unused tank to propose a closed garden. So the disused tank contain closed gardens where different kinds of plant will grow in it. So we move to the next problem, which is how they solve the water quality and the reduction of waste discharge into the Rhine River. The strategies is to improve the water system. The first is they transform the canalized riverbed into a valley. A new canal has taken the place of sewage canal, but now flowing with a fresh rainwater. Instead of creating more naturally shaped waterway, this new canal, named Amster River, was kept as straight as the canal before. The second strategy is waterways have been implemented as a wet biotops. In order to enhance the diversity of biotops, several waterways have been implemented as wet biotops. The banks have provided with a slight slope which are planted. An important theme in the development of the plan was to make the water system visible in order to stimulate a relationship between the visitors and the water. The last strategies in the water system is the reservoir. The reservoir serves a seasonal buffer in order to supplement the water shortage that developed in summer as a result of evaporation. The water from the reservoir is first filtered with a planted solids filter before it is pumped into the water system. So I think that's all from three of us. Thank you for watching.